Well, we may have taken one day off to get through the summer transfer window here, but let me assure you, I have been busier than ever. We've brought in few but quality additions to the squad, and we've still got one more gap to fill. But for now, as we head into our opener against Boreham Wood, I'm feeling optimistic of a top 7 finish. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 9 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We're back to begin season 2 with a summer transfer special, followed by our opener at home to Boreham Wood. We've added a few players to the squad this summer. We managed to keep a few crucially as well. And while we have lost one start fairly late in the summer that we've not yet been able to replace, I'm still feeling fairly optimistic about the season ahead. It should be mentioned that other National League clubs have really improved as well. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting season. If you're looking forward to it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. You can probably see a couple of spoilers across the screen here, but the biggest one for me is that we've now got 2.5 million in the bank, and I'm not quite sure how that happened. So before we go and have a look at the transfer window and all of that stuff, let's have a look at where the money's come from. Because if we go through to the finances now and have a look at our income so far, where on earth has the big pocket of money come from? Season tickets, £1 million. That seems very ambitious. Let's have a quick look at the club info. Season ticket holders, 3,200 at 380 quid. I need to do some quick maths here. Well, I stand corrected. I used to be good at maths once upon a time. With that out the way though, let's head over to the transfer screen and see what on earth has been going on, because there are a few potential deals to be done in and out yet. We've got one void in the squad, and I think based on the player we're trying to bring in, you can probably guess where that is. The unfortunate news is, virtually every player we've gone for this summer, Forest Green have also gone for. They're in League 2, and they've taken them. So, obviously there's some overlap in the scouting knowledge between the two, and unfortunately, they can offer the lure of EFL football at the minute. But despite that, we have had a very decent summer. If we go back to the end of last season, we obviously had the two come in before the FA Trophy final that we mentioned last time. I will give you a quick reminder of them because they are improving already. Jack Hingdon is the first one from Manchester United. He's on 500 quid a week. He looks a brilliant player already. And he's up there with Kensdale and Lomas as first choice. So, fabulous signing him. The same for Jack Morehouse, who, again at 3-star ability, is improving very quickly. He's fourth choice at the moment, but it won't take long. Let me assure you of that. Those two coming in mean that Ollie Coker went out. He left on the 10th of June and has gone on loan to Hemel, our FM22 club for the year. They're paying about 60% of his wages, I think, but far better than nothing. And actually, their contribution is more than we're paying Morehouse entirely. So there are some positives there as well. Let's have a quick look at the release players, because although there wasn't a great deal going out, I should mention David Martin. He had a good half a season, and before his injury was first choice. He's now gone to Hornchurch at a lower level. Probably shows he wasn't good enough for the deal he wanted with us. But he did make a contribution, and at crucial times of the season, produced a really good run of form. So well done to him, but let's go back to this season, because we have had a busy rest of the summer too. 4 players out, which we'll focus on first. Alfie Bangs was the first one. He's gone to Maidenhead after his loan at Haybridge last year. Still got pretty big potential, but maybe not the most determination. So I'm not sure whether he's going to reach it or not. Jake Wett is another one with big potential. He's joined Ollie Coker at Hemel Hempstead Town. He is someone who I feel more confident can make it, but he's going to need a good season of football now. Did well at Aveley last year. Not sure if they stayed up in the end. They didn't. This time he's at a bigger club who should be up there. So let's see if he's able to deliver. Max Fidd's another one of the youngsters. He goes to newly promoted Royston, who have gone into the National League North now, and unlike his spell at Banbury at the end of last season, he'll get regular football here. He's naturally fit, so it's just whether he can pop up with some goals. We'll wait and see. So based on all that, until about a week ago, we'd not actually lost the senior first team player, which I was thrilled with. I had the exact squad I wanted, but then Jack Bridge got the offer from York, and unfortunately, in the National League, he wanted to move on. We did try to offer him a new contract, but he wanted 2,400 a week, and unfortunately, we can't justify that. Our top earner, I think, is still 1,500, and we're not going to go up by £1,000 just for Jack Bridge. So He moves on. He's a good player, but he's not a great player. He had a good season for us. He made a good contribution for the club. He goes on to York City, who for some reason got him for half the price. But for us, it was a sad but inevitable departure, a bit like Nathan Ralph last January. In place of those, though, we've got 4 players coming in. Because Bridger's only just left, it's the only one we haven't fully replaced yet. I will show you the man we're trying to get in. But these are the 4 that have joined. We've managed to get an affiliation with Southampton, who have got a famously good youth academy, so that's great news for us. And the first one to take advantage of that is a goalkeeper, because with Dave Martin going, with indeed good enough to be first choice, but not reliable enough to play the whole season, I needed a solid backup, but without having to guarantee football or pay lots of money. And Ollie Wright does that perfectly. We've brought him in as a cup goalkeeper, we've got no wage contribution at all, and he's probably pretty similar to Indy, certainly similar to Dave Martin. So at 3-star ability, he's a 21-year-old keeper who we're not having to contribute to. I mean, we've got the best of both worlds there. If he doesn't play, it's not a worry for us. It doesn't cost in development for a player that we're going to need in the future. And if we do play him, then we've got a good goalkeeper, we're helping the parent club, and we're not having to pay him. I mean, it's the best of both worlds for me. The other 3 are all players that are going to contribute immediately, though. 2 left-backs to replace Nathan Ralph and Matthew Carson, who obviously left after his loan. We did try and get him back from Southampton, but he rejected it after they accepted his offer. Ryan Haynes is the first one of the 2. Really good experienced left-back. Came through at Coventry years ago, has played at Northampton, Newport, Shrewsbury. Just a solid League 2 level player. The key for these ones for me, they had to be players who were good at both left back and left wing back, because of course we were going to be playing 2 different tactics home and away, and Ryan Haynes does that. Not quite as good as Ralph, but probably as good as Carson, and very versatile for the squad this year, on just 600 quid a week. The second one is arguably even better. Lewis Page comes in following a spell at Dagenham and Redbridge, has played most of his recent football in the EFL though, and again a very good player at 28, does want first team football, does deserve to be playing regularly, and is very good in both positions, but he isn't quite up to speed yet, so it might take him a little bit longer to settle in, but once he has, I'm fairly happy with the 2 of them rotating. The other signing, which has come in this morning, is a really important one, because at home playing a 4-4-2, our only real option as the advance forward is Dan Mooney, and in the second half of last year he struggled with injury, and with Jack Bridge out at the moment, he's also our best left winger at the club. So Leighton Stewart from Preston, a former Liverpool Academy player, is a really important one for us. Did feature off the bench a few times in a championship last year, but here we have got a superstar striker. 4-star ability, 5-star potential, England under-18 international in years gone by. We're going to have to be careful building him up to fitness, but then away from home we're only playing 1 up front, so he's naturally going to get every other game off at the minute, just while he builds up to top form. If we can get him anywhere near his best, he's got all the attributes I like. Composure, finishing, first touch, off the ball and pace are all good. He also likes to move into channels and place his shots. He could be the perfect player for us, but we'll have to see if we can keep him fit, if we can keep him firing, because technically he's still not scored a senior goal yet. So we'll keep an eye on him, but overall, I'm very excited with the players we've brought in. I'll be even more excited if we can pip Forest Green to this guy. Val Adedokan is the replacement for Jack Bridge. He is a left midfielder, a left winger, a left back, a left wing back. He is a brilliant player, and he's also got bundles of potential at 21. He's played for Republic of Ireland's 21s team, and to be fair, he's had a good grounding at Brentford. If we can get him in, I will be thrilled. But we mentioned it before, Forest Green in for yet another one. Other clubs that are pretty big interested, you've got Sligo from the top tier in Ireland, you've got Woking who won the league last year, and Chesterfield who of course are going to be strong. So I'm not excited about the prospect of getting him. If we can, it's going to be one hell of a signing. We'll keep an eye on it to see if it happens. The fact that he waited 5 days for Forest Green's offer rather than accepting ours, it's already given me a few red flags, to be honest. But overall, we are in a really good position, and we head into this season with optimism, because if we have a look at the season preview, we are now the 4th favourites for promotion. Chesterfield are favourites, York are 2nd, Harrogate relegated are 3rd. Now, there are a few clubs a bit further down I'm worried about. So, for example, Lyle Taylor's at AFC Fylde, and he's a brilliant player. So, there could be a few problems with those types of players. And we haven't, I don't think, got anyone in the best 11 this season, but I sort of liken this to how our squad should be. No superstars, no frills, no spills, just a decent team. A solid group of players that want to work hard for each other, and we'll be surprised how far that can take us. But there are some bigger teams in the league this year. Yeovil and Scunthorpe both came up from the division below. Harrogate and Newport are good sides coming down. It's not going to be easy, especially with Chesterfield not getting promoted either. But we're going to see how we get on going into this one. Let's have a look at our squad in full because it is in pretty good nick at the minute. We've got a couple of players out. Harry Taylor just returning from injury. And we also had Joe Rye out the centre half. We have had a few problems in pre-season though. Lewis Lomas wants to leave for a bigger club. We have got an agreed promise with him that we'll let him go if we get an offer of 160,000. The biggest one so far has been about 75 grand, so we're safe and he's okay. But there are League One clubs interested, so we're going to wait and see if we get those offers, and if it's 160k, I'll let him go. Because to be honest, Kingdon's just as good. We picked him up on a free. Gus Scott Morris is the other problem for me though, because he had a little meltdown about team talks in pre-season. What's ironic about it is we played 6 games and I did manage a couple of them, but I didn't manage the Southampton game, which is the one that he got upset about. So the assistant manager's team talk has caused problems for me down the line. The biggest worry since then though, is after the expected defeats against them and Spurs in the money spinning friendlies, we lost to Malden and Tiptree at home and drew away at Scarborough Athletic. Now, I'm hoping we don't have to read too much into pre-season. We only played 6 games and already had a number of tired players, but I'm worrying if our break was shortened too much because of the FA Trophy final. It might end up being the worst thing that ever happened to us. Then you factor in that this month we've got Chesterfield at home in our second home fixture. We go away to 2 incredibly strong promoted sides in South Shields and Scunthorpe. And we've also got the likes of Rochdale and Barnet coming up in late September and early October. It's not the friendliest start to the season, if I'm being honest with you. We're going to put all of those concerns aside for now. The dynamics are still okay. Team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is good. And to be honest, once we do get that offer for Lomas, it will probably be far better. The managerial support is pretty poor, but it will go up pretty quickly. Now let's go and get through to the fixtures and see how we get on today. You can see Boreham Wood haven't had too much change over the summer, which means they've got a lot of good relationships in their team, but we're probably in a pretty similar situation. A lot of the starting 11 today were here last year, and the crucial bit of news as we return to this screen is that Harry Titchmarsh has agreed an extended loan. He is here for another season, he's developing really quickly, and he's going to be an absolute gem for us. So, probably the best player at the club at the moment, with Stewart, the new signing. It does mean we've got a little bit of added depth in the squad today. Of course, there is that little problem on the left-hand side, but otherwise we're relatively strong. Noor Hussein and Ollie Kensdale were regulars last year, as was Callum Powell for the most part. They're all on the bench for this one. And then Lewis Page is sitting this one out because he's relatively new, with Haynes being preferred at left-back. Danny Hilton there to give Cardwell a rest if need be. Might even be Stewart who gets one today. But this is our 11 in full for the opening day of the season. I'm still planning to do the same tactics home and away. If Leighton Stewart is that good, we might try the 4-4-2 on the road. But for now, our 11 is Ndee in goal, Scott Morris and Haynes the fullbacks, with Lomas and Kingdon centre half. I'd imagine before long that Lomas will be sold, and then Kensdale will of course just slot in. We've got Hilton and Mooney out wide, with Earing and Titchmarsh the regular midfield 2, and then Cardwell and Stewart the front 2 today. Hopefully they can form a good bond. We'll see how many minutes we can get out of Stewart safely. Hopefully we can get a couple of goals as well. But into the opening day against Boreham Wood, never an easy fixture, but hopefully today a successful one. Well, 3 changes today for Boreham Wood, who no longer have Luke Garrard as manager. Mark Yates has made those decisions, with Kwesi Appiah and Tom Whelan coming in alongside Fifield the skipper. We're going to pump the fist. We're going to say, I want you to play like favourites. And hopefully in the first half we're going to get a reaction. We're going to get on top at home to Boreham Wood. Well, a quarter of the game gone. It's been very quiet so far. We've had the better of the stats, but we've seen no highlights. And it's not been a particularly open game, as Abraham goes on a solo run, but Earing does really well. We can keep him fit. He's going to be a big player this year, as it's worked up to Leighton Stewart. He finds Lomas and into Earing. Can Cardwell have the same season again? In the end, we didn't get any offers for him, but Hilton gives him the ball here. It's a lovely turn. Hilton's wide again. Big ball into Leighton Stewart. He's 23 minutes into his debut. And he's doing what I thought he would. Sonny Hilton with a good delivery. It's a big season for him, the youngster. But Leighton Stewart is going to score goals galore. I'm convinced of it from the moment it was a possible option. John Stewart scouted him and found a gem. With half an hour gone, we leave Boreham Wood, and they've not laid a glove on us. But this is where they're strong. Set pieces, always going to be a threat. Can we deal with it sensibly? Appier's in, is headed over. Bit of a warning sign because it was a free header at the front post, and it wasn't that far away from testing the keeper. 5 to the break though. We've got to be pleased with the performance overall. We've not got everyone up to speed, and a couple of the additions were a bit later on. So if we can get the win by any means, I'm happy. As Mooney gets the ball on the left, where he is going to have to play for the meantime. Haynes picks the ball up and loses it, and Abraham will bring it away. Maybe that's a suggestion. I need to get Page fit quickly, because Haynes is a backup player at best. As Scott Morris finds Kingdon. Into Titchmarsh in midfield. It's had a quiet half. We have switched the 2 roles around in centre midfield because Earring's left-footed and a box-to-box player. As Haynes gets the ball at left back to Mooney. Inside again to Stewart. Heavy touch and he's giving it away. Lomas is beaten to it. This would be 1-1. Could be a terrible time to concede. No. No, no, no. It was so telegraphed that he was going to dive in there. Leighton Stewart gives the ball away. Lomas misses the challenge. And Kingdon, to be honest with you, that is really clumsy defending. Not what we wanted on his debut at all. And an awful time to concede. Half-time 1-1. And Boreham Wood do not deserve that a bit. Their first shot on target of the match. And we have shot ourselves in the foot. Let's go and point the finger. I'm not happy with that. I want a better reaction. I want goals. And you better go and deliver it now. Well, worryingly, it's been a very quiet start to this second half, and now it's Boreham Wood who are on the front foot. Owens gets in on the right to Kamina, chips into Simmons, who was unmarked. Scott Morris heads away. Byfield picks it up. Good challenge, Titchmarsh. Now can we break? Over halfway he goes. He's got support. It's a heavy touch. It's not very good. But this is a long highlight. What is it going to lead to? We're only on key highlights, so it's got to be something. As O'Neill picks the ball up in the centre circle. Big switch to Abraham. They're spreading the play well here. Abraham gets down the line. We're going to get FM'd, aren't we? Back to O'Neill. What a save, indeed. Tipped it onto the woodwork. It's stunning play. And with an hour gone, it's 1-1. But Boreham Wood looked the better since half-time. I'm going to make that change at left-back now, actually. Haynes off for Page. We're also going to take Mooney off on the left of midfield, who struggled. Callum Powell on for him. And I'll save the last 10 more minutes. But not the promising start from Cardwell. Not much quality in midfield either. I'm going to encourage them, but no real reaction so far. So with 20 to go, we're going to go back to the tried and tested. Earing will come off for Husin. I'm going to swap the midfield 2 round. And I'm going to play them exactly as they were last year. Box to box on support for Husin. Central midfielder for Titchmarsh. We have got 17 minutes plus stoppage time. And after a strong start, a positive first half, that penalty before the break has really been a sucker punch, hasn't it? We're going to go positive. We're going to chase this game. Going to demand a bit more because there's no reaction. Titchmarsh has now pulled his groin and it's a corner for Boreham Wood. This could become a disaster here. Titchmarsh hoofs it downfield. And O'Neill will get there first. Byfield to Whelan. Abraham deflected in. Oh, it's a very different start to last year. It's deflected off Stewart as well. Stewart is the man who's made the mistake. He scored 1 goal and cost us 2. I'm not sure this is the signing I'd planned it to be. We've got 4 minutes added on. We're going attacking, but we're going to lose the opener 2-1. The only solace I'm taking is we lost at home to Boreham Wood last year, and we still would have had enough points for the playoffs. But after the first 40 minutes, this has been a bit of a disaster. Leighton Stewart, the positive, has scored on his debut. The negative, he's at fault for both of the goals we've conceded. And at full time, it's 2-1 to Boreham Wood. We need to get Lomas out because it's causing some unrest in the dressing room. Once he's gone, I think we'll be all right. But promising signs in that performance, a very worrying result. We probably can't afford to give up too much ground early doors. Looking at the other results here, you can see Chesterfield, Oldham, Rochdale, all the favourites won. So let's go and have a look at the schedule of when we're going to be back. Titchmarsh is going to miss the next couple of games. Yes, Stewart scored, but wasn't a great performance, was it? So let's go and have a look at the schedule here. When are we going to return? We could do Chesterfield, but that's a bit too soon, I think. Maybe Scunthorpe away because that is the save I was going to do if Southend didn't make it this year. and they are going to be a tough test having come up. They signed a few players at our expense last year. Remember the Nathan Delfonso saga? So I think we might do that one. We'll come back for Scunthorpe away from home. We might get in a Dagenham game as well on TV. If you did enjoy this one, an encouraging summer transfer special, followed by a very disappointing day, certainly from the 44th minute onwards against Boreham Wood. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments if you've had the same issues as me. I find when one person is causing unrest in the dressing room, that the whole squad just underperforms. So we're going to have to get Lomas out, but I need to get value for money. And 160 grand is the offer we're looking for. I'm not going to get doom and gloom yet, because I feel we're going to have a good season. We've got a few people not quite up to fitness, and we do still need a left winger. Once we've got that, I'm confident we'll have a good year. If you want to join me and stay up to date and find out, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back this time tomorrow as we look to return to form at Southend, but in the meantime, we'll be back with the head coach later today. If you didn't see our special top 3 yesterday, you can find that playlist up in the eye above. All of the other stuff, including the Twitch channel and a football podcast up there too. But certainly not an ideal start to the season with Southend United. A lot of my optimism has faded here, but hopefully we'll be able to respond very quickly and get back to form before the next one. I'll see you there to find out if we have.